Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news as we discuss the Cristiano Ronaldo dilemma. Is he now a bench player at Manchester United? Is it worse than that? Is he actually no longer of use to Manchester United? Or as we've seen many times through Cristiano Ronaldo's career, and what I think is that people are writing him off way too soon and you'll be eating your words very soon. We want to get into that and we've got some key things to talk about in relation to that. Some of the more interesting things I've read, he's too old, he doesn't suit the way that we play, he can't play in a Ten Hag system. Some really interesting things, and I'm sure we'll get more from you in a moment, that I want to get into. But topical stuff, we are live, so I can give you some live updates here. Premier League games, as we discussed this morning, have been called off this weekend. They've been postponed due to the passing of the Queen last night. And we are now into a situation where we don't know whether next weekend games will happen because that's when the funeral is going to take place, which would therefore mean there would be no Premier League action for Manchester United until the Manchester City game on October the 2nd, which means we're 3 and a bit weeks away from a Premier League fixture, which is ridiculous. However, I do want to say, look, respect, and it's very sad what's happened with the Queen. But I think that I think the Premier League have got this wrong. I think basically in the UK this weekend, all football has been postponed. Grassroots football, my daughter plays, can't play tomorrow. That's been postponed. All as a mark of respect for the passing of the Queen, which is absolutely not something to feel guilty about when you say what I'm about to say now. Because I personally think, and I don't know, but I personally think that the Queen, 96, had a fantastic life. Are we not celebrating her life? Is that not what we're doing? Therefore, I think the Queen would have wanted, especially grassroots football, to be playing tomorrow and before the game, stood on the circle for a minute, paying tribute to the Queen. Instead, they're going to be sat at home on their PlayStations or on Netflix. Instead, I just think misread the room on public sentiment. I think that football grounds and grassroots football could have made really memorable memories over the weekend with people paying their respects in a united way, and they've decided to not read the room. And actually, if you look around social media, the reactions actually become quite toxic and fed up. So look, it is what it is. Either way, for me, I think it's very sad what's happened, but I think that they've got sad what's happened with the Queen, but I think they've got it wrong. I think they have got it wrong, and it's going to be very interesting to see when and if we see Manchester United playing in the Premier League again. But we will play next Thursday in the Europa League. That will happen, but then we've got the international break after next weekend, haven't we? So it could be a few weeks now. And of course, bringing it back to football, because I think most of us would respect the fact that this is a very, very unique and sad occurrence when the monarch dies. Taking it back to football completely, because that's what we're going to talk about now. This is ridiculous for scheduling as well. This World Cup has already messed up the scheduling, and now we're going to miss however many weeks of the Premier League as well. Ray says he wants Victor Osimhen at the club. So let's get into the... Well, G-Man says she had a full life, and I don't want it to turn into that, but she's 96 years of age. She's had an amazing life. Are people meant to be sat at home crying all weekend, or are they going to celebrate the life of somebody they never met who was our monarch? I think the latter. And I said it last night. What are people going to do this weekend? They're going to watch European football. They're going to watch the F1. They're going to play on their PlayStations. They're going to go on Netflix. They're not going to be sat around crying watching and yet another documentary about the Queen that most people watched last night. And that's the modern world, isn't it? And on the day of the funeral, I think it will be a major event, and I think a lot of people will be very, very sad. But I think the Queen was quite modern and aware of modern society, and I just, my opinion is that it should have gone ahead. But we've got to respect the decision that's been made, and that's where we are. So Manchester United's next game will be next Thursday in the Europa League, as we know, which brings us back to football, and we're going to talk about Cristiano Ronaldo. So, look, I want to dive into this. I want to talk football. So, Cristiano Ronaldo, the end. Is Cristiano Ronaldo done at Manchester United? And in my opinion, straight away, of course not. I'm a massive fan of Cristiano Ronaldo. I've seen him been written off time and time and time again. But I want to hit it head on because I know that This community is about different opinions, and I know for a fact there's people I respect in this community who think that Ronaldo is done, and therefore I can't just sit here and do the Mark Goldbridge show and say you're all a bunch of idiots and you don't know what you're talking about. So some people saying in the chat that Ronaldo is the problem. I mean, look, straight away, one of the worst. I've got a right itchy nose now. One of the worst. I'm not doing an F1 watch along, Barry. No. One of the worst comments I've seen about the Ronaldo situation is that he can't play in an Erik ten Hag system. I find that absolute. Look, and I think this is where I want to have a football conversation. I want to sit in a pub or sit here now and have a football conversation that's not riddled with holes because you've got an agenda. The blunt answer is Ronaldo finished at Manchester United? No. Are there issues? Yes. Let's look at the issues, because it's never a case when you've got a player of the year who's your top scorer a few short months ago is suddenly finished because he started one game and not played very well. That just can't be the case. It doesn't work like that. Unless he's got a career-ending injury, it just doesn't. You don't fall off like that, especially when you're one of the game's greatest players. But when people say, and look, there will be things that I talk about. Does Cristiano Ronaldo suit the way we're playing at the moment? No. But he didn't suit Solskjaer's style of football last year. Ronaldo does not suit counter-attacking football. Whether it's Juventus, Real Madrid or Manchester United now, whether he's 37 or 32, Cristiano Ronaldo does not suit counter-attacking football. Real Madrid did not play counter-attacking football. Juventus did not play counter-attacking football. Cristiano Ronaldo does not suit counter-attacking football, and he doesn't suit the way we're playing at the moment. 100% I agree with you. He is not and has never been a player that just relies on explosive pace to run in behind and score one-on-ones. He's one of the best aerial strikers in the game, and he's one of the best penalty box strikers in the game. You don't put crosses into the box, and you don't benefit from movement in the box if you haven't got good quality ball going into the box. And we haven't got good quality ball going into the box. Look at the goals that we've scored recently. Leicester, counter-attack. Arsenal, the first goal, counter-attack. Second goal, counter-attack. Third goal, counter-attack. Liverpool, counter-attack. The goals we're scoring this season, you've got to look at them and go, do they suit Cristiano Ronaldo? And they don't. They're all about breaking quickly. And that's not what his game is. Look at the goals Erling Haaland has scored for Man City in and around the 6-yard box. Does that suit Cristiano Ronaldo? Yes, it does. So when you're analysing where Ronaldo's going wrong at United, you've got to analyse the way that we're playing. He doesn't suit this team. You're right. He doesn't suit the way we're scoring goals, which is counter-attacking football. But if he was playing for Man City in and around the 6-yard box with good balls going into the box like Haaland's getting, yes, he would score goals. The interesting thing is, when people say that Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't suit the Erik ten Hag football, we're not playing Erik ten Hag football. If Erik ten Hag had Cristiano Ronaldo at Ajax last season, he'd score 50 goals. Sebastian Haller scored goals. Ajax had 70% possession for most of their games last year. They played a high line and they put a lot of quality balls into the penalty box, whether it was high or low. He would have scored a lot of goals in that team. But we're not playing like that. So when people say Ronaldo doesn't suit this team, at the moment he doesn't, because we're playing counter-attack mainly. But if we were playing the way Ten Hag wants to play, he probably would. So there's an evolution here. When people say Ronaldo's finished and all this, that and the other, he's a bench player at the moment, 100%. We're going to have to keep using Rashford. I agree, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But if we evolve into the team that Ten Hag wants us to be, then I think Ronaldo becomes a very useful player in that system. So I agree that, you know, at the moment, the way we're playing, he doesn't suit us. But I don't think that... Alex says that Ronaldo thrived under Mourinho's counter-attacking football in Real Madrid. How many years do you want to go back, Alex? How many years are you going to go back? I'm not talking about Mourinho's Real Madrid. I'm talking about the last 5-6 years. I'm not going back 10 years, mate. I don't know why you are, because we're not. Should we go back to 2008 when he was one of the quickest players in the world on the wing? I'm not talking about 10 years ago. I'm talking about the last... I said 32. What? 37 minus 5 is 32. I said nothing about under fucking Mourinho on counter-attack. And actually, I do know football because Real Madrid didn't play counter-attacking football under Mourinho. So you might want to go and check yourself. This is what I mean. You can't have a football conversation with some people because they don't actually know what they're on about. They think Jose Mourinho played counter-attacking football at Real Madrid. They're having a bloody laugh. Come with facts. Come with proper conversation. We'll have a conversation. Ronaldo does not suit Ten Hag at the moment because we're playing counter-attacking football. That's why he's using Rashford. Rashford suits this team better down the middle. I don't like Rashford as a striker. I want him on the left. But if you're going to keep pinging balls over the top and try and hurt teams on the break, yes, Rashford suits that. If we become the team that Ajax were under Ten Hag, Ronaldo becomes a very, very, very valuable asset. The problem at the moment is we've got an identity crisis. That's what we've got. Ten Hag's team is not in the identity of him yet because he's got to build it, which is completely natural. So it's not Ten Hag's fault that he's taking time to build the team how he wants it to do. Look at the game last night. 50% possession, that's got to go up by 20%. Shots on target's got to go up by double. Passes compared to the opposition has got to go up by double. There's a load of work to do and we'll get better for it. Unfortunately, that's a bit of an identity crisis because we haven't got the football that Ten Hag wants to play yet. We're building towards it. And it causes an identity crisis for Ronaldo because he doesn't suit this style of football at the moment. If we get there, he probably will. It's going to take patience. And I think that's the thing for me. I don't think Cristiano Ronaldo's got the patience. I think that's the biggest issue here. I don't think the talent's a problem. I think he will score goals. There are people out there saying that he doesn't suit this system. He's fell off. He's 37. He didn't suit Solskjaer's system. Solskjaer played counter-attacking football and yet he scored 18 Premier League goals and was our player of the year. He's not fell off this planet as a top-level footballer in 3 or 4 months. Not at all. I think the struggle with Ronaldo is he had very little pre-season and that is hurting him. He's rusty. He's very, very rusty. And I think what he needs to do, and Ronaldo doesn't need to take advice of me or you, but he's not at the level he needs to be at the moment and he doesn't look sharp. 100%. There was a couple of balls into the box last night where you think he's going to hit it first time and he takes a touch. I don't believe for 1 minute that he's finished in the sense that he's fell off. I just don't think he's fully sharp enough as a starter for Man United at the moment. And I think that will come. Deacon, thank you for being a member for 6 months. I really do think it will come. The problem that we have is that will he be patient for that? We're already seeing at the moment that we may not play a Premier League game till October. A month later, the World Cup. After the World Cup, you're basically in the January transfer window. When Ten Hag said that Ronaldo's here till January at least, that January transfer window could come around very, very quickly. If Ronaldo is not going to start our next Premier League game, and our next Premier League game's at the start of October, and then the World Cup's at the start of November, and then our next game is on December the 26th, there may not be many opportunities for Ronaldo to have the patience to get back in the team, and we may well be talking about him going in January again. That is a concern, because there's such a short period of time when you take out all the delays and all the World Cup and everything. But on the flip side, to be positive, once he's up to full match sharpness, I do think he becomes a major asset. I also think that Anthony Martial coming back into the team will be better for Ronaldo because that will certainly shift Rashford back to the wing. Martial will start, and then if Martial's out of form, then Ronaldo plays. But at the moment, I think Martial actually being injured doesn't benefit Ronaldo because we're putting Rashford through the middle, which is making us play in a very distinct way. Rashford can't hold the ball up. Rashford can't link the play up. Rashford just wants the ball in behind, as we know. And that's making us play like that. So I think the style of football at the moment isn't the Ten Hag style, and I certainly don't think it benefits Ronaldo. HKN says Ronaldo's hold-up play is non-existent. Well, it's better than Rashford's. But yeah, look, I think Martial's the better of the three. I would agree with you there. I want Ronaldo to go to Chelsea and destroy this team, says Pom. And since the Premier League's postponed, are you going to do a watch-along for different teams? No. Mark, people will know when he scores in the World Cup, says Jash. I just think with Ronaldo, it's a very dangerous game to write him off because he's been written off for probably 20 years and he will come back. But I think that one of the most important things is that we get a level of reality to this. Welcome to the Members Club, Patrick. Get a level of reality to this. They're actually, I like to use scales, and I think there's a very balanced opinion on Ronaldo. And ultimately, we're on the same team. We're all Manchester United fans, and we want what's best for Manchester United. Right now, I think Ronaldo's future at Man United is in the balance because so much of it is about him. Is he going to get frustrated? Is he going to be focused? Is he going to be patient? And if he is, I believe he will get his way back in the team gradually. If he isn't, and he's still angling for a move in January, I think we're going to get 3 or 4 months of what we've seen over the last couple of weeks. I can't answer you that question. I don't know. I don't know. But I think the most important thing is, if Ten Hag takes his football to the way that he played at Ajax, then Ronaldo will become more beneficial to this team. We haven't got a guy that can get on the end of a cross in the number 9 position. Ronaldo can. Aerially, he's way better than Rashford and Martial. So that's a benefit. We've got people like Antony and Sancho that benefits a high possession team playing in the final third. That benefits Ronaldo. Basically, to make Ronaldo work, you need to get him match sharp again, which I would admit he's not at the moment. And you need to start putting decent balls into the box, whether it's aerially or not. And as I said, the best example is Erling Haaland. The chances he's getting at Man City at the moment, he's getting 4 or 5 chances a game in the 6-yard box. Like balls into the 6-yard box, whether aerially or on the ground, he's getting 5 or 6 good chances a game in the box. At United, and take Ronaldo out of this for a minute, over the last 3 years and this season, to be fair, how many times have we said we're not creating enough chances for our striker? Cavani, Martial, Rashford, Ronaldo. We don't generally do it. The interesting thing is, last night, we did. We did make some chances into the box. We actually did. And Ronaldo, the header he should have scored. He did score a good header. He was offside. And there was a few with his feet where I think he could have been a bit sharper. But when we consistently start doing that, I think we'll see better from all of our strikers. But at the moment, the style of the play, the identity is a problem. Ronaldo does not suit a team that counterattacks. He just doesn't suit it at all. Does not suit it. Hasn't suited it for years. Doesn't suit it. Rashford does because of his pace. Alanga does because of his pace. And let's build it out a little bit. Sancho doesn't suit this team at the moment because it's too fast on the counter. Ronaldo doesn't suit it because it's too fast on the counter. Antony we don't know about yet. Martial's not fit, so it's hard to tell. So we're struggling with a bit of an identity crisis at the moment where, amazingly, Marcus Rashford is probably our best number 9 because of the way we're playing football at the moment. So I think people are rushing to say Ronaldo's finished, this, that and the other. We're all used to that. But actually, I think if you delve into it a little bit, the real issue here is match sharpness from Ronaldo is lacking. And we saw that with Fred and we saw that with Maguire as well. They're lacking match sharpness and it was really clear last night. Also, the way that we're playing doesn't necessarily suit him. But there is a caveat to that. When you get these so-called experts saying that Ronaldo doesn't suit Ten Hag's football, I don't think they actually know what Ten Hag's football is because it's not what we've seen over the last 5 games. We didn't recruit Ten Hag to play this style of football. He doesn't want us to play this style of football. If you listen to his interviews, we're not pressing enough, we're not getting enough possession, we're not changing it, we're not creating enough chances. He said that 2 days ago. So he knows we're not where we need to be. But as a work in progress, we're doing fantastically well. So when people say that Ronaldo doesn't suit Ten Hag's system, well, Sancho doesn't suit Ten Hag's system at the moment either. When we become the team that Ten Hag wants us to be, 70% possession, as I say, playing in the opposition's half, that's when Sancho gets better. That's when Ronaldo gets better. But at the moment, we're not doing that. And Ronaldo's not the only one that's suffering a little bit. Sancho's not a player that wants to be sprinting on the break with pace. So identity crisis is probably the big thing. But I'll go back to what I said last night as well. I don't really think we need to be in a position where we're witch hunting our players either. We need to be in a position where we're on the train of recovery. We're on the train of development. We're on the train of rebuild because I don't think Ronaldo's going to be happy to sit on the bench, but I don't think Jadon Sancho's going to be happy to sit on the bench. But when Martial's back, the best front 3 could be Antony, Martial and Rashford as a front 3 with Sancho and Ronaldo on the bench. So it's not just Ronaldo, it's maybe Sancho, it's Fred, it's Maguire, it's Lindelof, it's Casemiro. There's quite a few players at the moment that are struggling for an identity in the starting 11 where they think they maybe should be. What we need is those players to be patient and work hard because I don't care what anybody says. Fred, Casemiro, Harry Maguire, Rashford, Sancho, Ronaldo, Lindelof. They're very good players to have on your bench if they are engaged and focused. And that's the thing for me. How engaged and focused is Ronaldo on getting back to his best and being a starter for Man United? We don't know the answer to that. I've got no fear about his ability. I've got no fear about his professionalism, and I've got no fear about his quality. I think he will score goals. I think he needs to get a bit sharper, and I think more games and more possession, and he will get better. But what I don't know about Ronaldo is what his long-term plan is. Is he looking to get out in January, or is he looking to stay for the season? And that's what will really dictate what happens. And that's what Jay says. The major question is Ronaldo happy with the bench? And I don't think so. And that is what I wanted to get onto as well. We are talking about a player here that has never sat on the bench as well. So there's an adjustment period. And that's what I mean. It's about what Ronaldo feels. We know he's a top-level professional. We know he's a top-level player. But he's never had to sit on the bench before. Is he happy with that? Is he not happy with that? And how does he deal with that? Agree Ronaldo doesn't suit counter-attack. Do you think that Ronaldo will still be here by the time Ten Hag evolves the team into his style of football, says Triggered Salt? Well, there is an evolution question. Is Cristiano Ronaldo the future of Manchester United? Absolutely not. We know that. We know he's not. We might get another year out of him after this one, but he's not the long-term vision. At the moment, is Martial the long-term vision? His injury record could kill that. So, weirdly, Marcus Rashford might be the long-term vision up front, but that I prefer him off the left. So, I think long-term, United need a striker, and I've seen people talking about Osimhen as well. So, long-term, this team needs to evolve. It still has holes in it. I think we need another creative midfielder from deep to deploy or rest Eriksen as he gets older. I think we need another right-back. I think we need another centre-back, and we definitely need a striker to build this team around long-term, because I don't think Rashford's a striker. Martial could be very unreliable, and Ronaldo is not going to be here probably in a year or two. So we do need to do that. Of course we do. But it surprises me that some people think that we're going to be the finished article now anyway, because we're not. That's simply not going to be the case. So I think that everyone wants an answer now. Everyone wants to have a debate now, and, I've got no problem with that at all. But I think when you're being analytical about the issues, it's very important to look at how we're playing. Is this the way Ten Hag wants to play, or is there an evolution? And there certainly is. Look at the player you're talking about. Will they suit the evolution of that style? And I think with Ronaldo, yes, he will. Does he need to get sharper? Yes. And I think there's a double responsibility here. There's an onus on Ronaldo to focus, and let's see how focused he can be over the next 3 months. And there's an onus on Ten Hag to develop the team into the team that he's meant to be developing into in relation to style of play. If they both do that, I think they'll meet in the middle and be very, very successful together. If either of them don't do that, then it's going to be a problem. If we keep playing the way we're playing, which is basically counter-attacking, it's never going to suit Ronaldo, and it's never going to work. And everyone who says it's not going to work is going to be right. If Ten Hag evolves the team to a possession-based team that suits a penalty box striker, but Ronaldo just can't focus on that and doesn't want to be patient to that, it won't work. If Ten Hag evolves the team to a penalty box high possession team and Ronaldo works hard to get there, they will meet in the middle and they'll be successful. So there's 3 outcomes really. Either Ten Hag can't get this team playing possession football and we stay counter-attacking and Ronaldo will not work in that system. Ten Hag does get the team to a high possession team that creates penalty box striker scenarios, and Ronaldo doesn't want to concentrate, whatever, he'll fail. Same scenario with the possession and the penalty box chances, and Ronaldo works, they'll be successful. And I think those 3 situations will play out over the next months. And what I mean about Ronaldo doesn't want to, Ten Hag gets to having 70% possession with loads of chances in and around the box that Ronaldo will thrive on, but Ronaldo doesn't get there. What I mean that is Ronaldo's thinking he's going in January. If that's the case, then it's never going to work either. So there's 3 scenarios to play out there, and I think it will be interesting to see how it does pan out. It's going to take time, says David. We're nowhere near there yet. I know. KT says possession-based team does not use penalty box striker. That's why Pep failed with Zlatan. Are some of these people actually real, or are they just idiot bots? I mean, have you watched Man City this? I mean, I can't believe you would actually get somebody saying that possession-based teams do not use penalty box strikers. Have you been watching the Premier League this year? Have you seen what Erling Haaland's done for Man City? He's the quintessential definition of penalty box striker. And Man City are the most possession-based team in the Premier League. I mean, you might have been in a coma, in which case, well done, waking up. But, I'm sorry, I'm loving it when people bring great points into it, but that can't be allowed to, drop into somebody's head and they think it's true. Mr. Leonardo says, get rid of Deadwood like Maguire, Fred, Lindelof, Ronaldo now. Use the teenagers, which could progress. Again, another Pratt comment. I mean, what are you talking about? So who's the teenage centre-back that's going to replace Maguire and Lindelof? We haven't got one. Who's the teenage midfielder that's going to replace Fred? We haven't got one. And I presume you're thinking about putting Charlie McNeil at front instead of Ronaldo. I mean, yeah, way to throw a kid into a really toxic environment. These players, whatever you think about them, you might really want to sell Harry Maguire. That might be a party for you if we sell Harry Maguire or Fred or Ronaldo or Lindelof. I get that. But the transfer window is closed. And it doesn't really open up again until next summer. So whatever you think about Maguire or Fred or Ronaldo, we need these players to be part of this story this season. Do you want them to play for United and be shit? And do you want us to be in the Europa League next year? Or do you want this squad to thrive and grow together and get us in the Champions League? Because that's what I want. And I think people think that you've got to underperform to get sold. But I actually think that next summer, there's a high chance that either Lindelof or Maguire will leave. And I think they will leave, not because they've had a bad season, but because they're not the first choice centre-backs. And also because Ten Hag probably thinks they're not really what he can build forward. But if they've had a decent season for us and they've helped us out, you let them go with a shake of the hand and it's goodbye. That's the sort of sale we want. What we don't want is what we've just had, where no one wants to buy our players because everyone thinks they're overpaid and shit. I want players to start leaving this club because they don't suit what Ten Hag wants long term, but they've put a shift in for us for a year. I think Fred falls into that category. Maybe Maguire falls into that category. Maybe Ronaldo falls into that category. But we need them to perform for us this year, because if our backup players are performing, then we're going to have a good season. Ronaldo and Bruno as a 9-10 partnership just doesn't work. There's no coincidence that Bruno's better performances for United are when Ronaldo isn't playing. This isn't Ronaldo's fault. It's just a clash of styles, says LJ. But you're wrong, LJ. You're actually wrong, because if you look at the stats of last season, Bruno actually did get... I know he didn't play well at the end of the season, but that wasn't because he was playing with Ronaldo. Bruno actually got quite a lot of assists and goals last year. Statistically, he had an okay season. Ronaldo had a very good season. So I disagree. I disagree. I think Bruno and Ronaldo don't suit each other in a counter-attacking system, which is what we've seen for the last couple of years. I think you're right about that. But again, it's too broad stroke. People just want to make definitive statements. It's like they want to be on the traffic light system again. They want to have positive statements or negative statements, but they don't want to work in between. And life is everything in between. It's like the sandwich. You've got the two pieces of bread. It's not about the bread. It's about what's in between it. The bread will taste like bread, but if you put shit in it, it's horrible. If you put a burger in there, it's nice, unless you're a vegetarian. People come out with these blanket comments and they're too simplistic. Ronaldo and Bruno don't work together. I like them both, but they don't work together. But you're not looking at the system. For the last 2 years, we've played counter-attacking football. How do Bruno and Ronaldo work together in a counter-attacking system? They don't, because Bruno gets the ball and he's probably looking for a ball over the top for Ronaldo, which he's never going to want. You've got to work your way up the pitch. You want to get Ronaldo, you want to get Bruno on the edge of the box against the low block, probing it, looking for Ronaldo, dinking a cross in. That's how they work together. What about that goal at Spurs last season? That world-class ball into Ronaldo. Remember away from home? People forget about it. That was Bruno to Ronaldo. It can work in the right system. I'll guarantee you now, if Ten Hag gets United playing with 70% possession against a low block where we've got loads of the ball and we're probing the back four, in and around the box, I guarantee you'll see Bruno and Ronaldo work well together. But they're not going to work in this system. The system's the problem. He's not a counter-attacking striker. Absolutely not. He will not work in this system at the moment. But Bruno and Ronaldo will work in a system that's like what Ajax did last year. But we don't play like that yet. Why is our record poor against Spanish teams? It is really poor, Sully. Really, really poor. You make a great point. It's not just Ronaldo. There's only a handful of strikers that would be able to play in our system until our fullbacks and wingers are creating endless chances. No point playing Ronaldo. And I agree with Sean. I think at the moment I would concede, even as a Stonewall Ronaldo fan, he doesn't suit the way we're playing at the moment because it's too based on pace. But I don't think Sancho suits us at the moment. I don't. I don't think we're getting the best out of our fullbacks at the moment. And I think Ten Hag knows this. So it's going to be interesting to see how we evolve, basically, isn't it? It really is. Anyway, that was just a quick video. We have got the chart show coming up for you this weekend. People are saying there's no football, but there is the chart show. The chart show is coming up for you tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to that. So we rank the top 10 players of the week. If you remember the top 10 last week, well, I'll give you the top 5 from last week. It was Eriksen in at 5, Malacia was 4, Dalot was 3, Martinez was 2, and last week's number 1 was Varane. I can tell you we have got a new number 1 this week. So looking forward to the chart show. That's coming up tomorrow. I've already recorded Rashford versus Ronaldo, comparing their stats this season: aerial duels, pass success rate, shot completions, shot accuracy. Really interesting video because Rashford wins on some key areas, but Ronaldo actually still wins on a couple of areas against Rashford. Very interesting. That's going up on the members section this afternoon. Make sure you click the members join button and join. And if you are a member, watch out for that. Of course, it's exclusive for our members on that. I am going to be on Twitch just after 3 o'clock. I'm probably going to play a bit of Fall Guys, but I will be on Twitch at about 3:10. And finally, links in the chat and in the video description. Goldbridge gets called out by an ex-United player. This is a true story. It's on Driving with Goldbridge. Some of you might not be aware of Driving with Goldbridge. It's my own channel where I do sort of different stuff away from football. But the story is true. I got called. Well, I'm not gonna spoil it, but I got called out, or stabbed in the back by an ex-United player, and someone told me the story. So check it out. I pinned it at the top of the chat, and it's in the video description. Go and give it a watch. We just need to get the best out of Ronaldo now while we rebuild, says Ray. I agree. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Really enjoyed the chat. Smash a like on the video and subscribe. And don't forget, I'm on Twitch in a bit, about half an hour. Goldbridge TV, I'll tweet it. We've got the members video going out for you, Rashford and Ronaldo compared. And also check out Goldbridge called out by ex-United player. Links in the description or in the chat. Speak to you all in a bit. Thanks for watching. It wasn't Incy. Incy wouldn't call me out like that. He'd say it to my face. Not Incy. Speak to you in a bit. They've got an R in the first name. Speak to you in a bit.